The armed wing of Hamas has called on Israel to temporarily cease airstrikes and withdraw from parts of Gaza City. It claims it's trying to locate two hostages it lost contact with during fighting with Israeli forces. The Hamas-controlled Gaza Health Ministry says Israeli strikes have killed at least 77 people across the Gaza Strip in the past 24 hours. The Israeli military has stepped up air and ground assaults this weekend and ordered civilians to move south.
A faint buzz above Gaza City. First one building, then another are obliterated by Israeli airstrikes. Locals flee, as seen in these images from the Palestinian Authority's news agency. But for those in the firing line, it's another story. Scores of people were killed and injured in Gaza on Sunday as Israeli tanks pushed into the Palestinian enclave. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to continue the offensive until Hamas is eliminated, telling a sparsely attended session at the UN last week that his nation, quote, must finish the job. US President Donald Trump thinks otherwise, posting on his Truth Social platform that a peace deal is now within reach. We have a real chance for greatness in the Middle East. All are on board for something special. First time ever, we will get it done, he wrote. An estimated 400,000 civilians remain in Gaza City. For them, words mean little as they struggle to survive each day.
There's no food, no water. Life is unbearably expensive. You know what I mean? There are no jobs, no work, nothing coming in for us, you see? In simple terms, this is famine.
Despair is spreading. At this demonstration outside Gaza City's Al-Aqsa hospital, children joined their parents urging international intervention to save lives.
Our children are dying. My daughter was injured months ago. We are being subject to genocide in front of the world. It's unjust.
As the fighting grinds on, Hamas has called on Israel to cease attacks on Gaza City for 24 hours to allow it to locate two Israeli hostages it has lost contact with, stating their lives were in real danger.
Giorgio Cafiero is the CEO and founder of Gulf State Analytics, a geopolitical risk consultancy firm based in Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us. So Hamas's armed wing has said it's lost contact with two hostages. Do you think this could or would slow down the Israeli offensive?
Yeah, thank you for having me on as your guest today. No, I don't think that this call from Hamas on Israel to slow down its military operations will likely have any effect on Israel's policy. I think that Israel is committed to moving ahead with this genocidal campaign. Its foot on the gas. I repeat, I don't think any calls from Hamas on Israel to make any changes in its actions in Gaza will have an effect. I think the party that would actually be able to persuade Israel to change course is the United States, and I think that's the only country in the world that has the leverage to get Israel to change its course of action right now.
Donald Trump has come out and expressed optimism about reaching a deal. We know he's due to meet Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday. This is something we've heard in the past. Do you see any end in sight?
Well, we've been here many times before, and the same dynamics that were in play in the past, which I've discussed on this network so many times since October 2023, are still in play. It's all well and good for Steve Witkoff to come up with this proposal, for officials in the Trump administration, including Trump himself, to have many discussions with Arab Islamic leaders at the United Nations. But at the end of the day, if the United States is not going to put any pressure on Israel to agree to a peace proposal, a ceasefire proposal, or anything, that is not going to, we're not going to really get anywhere. If Israel is able to violate the terms of any sort of a deal with no pushback from the United States, or if Israel is in a position to reject anything that the Trump administration puts on the table without any consequences from the United States, there's no reason to expect any sort of concessions from Israel. Additionally, when we're talking about this 21-point plan. There are certain aspects of it that I think are sort of non-starters for elements in Israel's ultra-right-wing government, talking about Israeli forces withdrawing from Gaza. These people like Smotrich, Ben Gvir, they want Israel to have a total ground occupation of Gaza, talking about the Ramallah-based PA coming into Gaza as a governing entity. That's also a total deal breaker. So no, I'm really not optimistic about what will come next. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be an illusion of diplomacy taking place while Israel just continues moving ahead full throttle with the genocide.
Now, Benjamin Netanyahu has told Fox News that it might be possible to have a kind of amnesty, if you will, for Hamas leaders under terms of the agreement, if they were to leave the Strip, for example. How would that square with Israel's stated goal of destroying Hamas?
Well, yes, in this recent Fox News interview, the Israeli prime minister said he was not going to preempt the idea. And in the past, he has basically said that in principle, Israel would be open to that, but that's going to depend on many of the details that would have to be worked out. In the event that Hamas would agree to disarm, which I don't think the organization would agree to, but if that were to happen, I think Israel might be willing to allow Hamas figures to leave the enclave and relocate to other countries in the region or possibly other countries around the world. But again, getting there would be quite difficult. Getting to that point and having Hamas sign on to that, I think, would be rather difficult, and there would be many deals that would have to be worked out.
All right, thanks very much for that analysis. Giorgio Cafiero from the Gulf State Analytics.
Thank you.